Yo, what's up, gamers? So, in the Pokemon Unite community, there's been a little bit of turmoil, some naysayers, some doomsaying.
The end is coming!
But I wanted to give kind of like a fresh take. Like right now, especially with the release of Zoroark and the way they're dealing with new character releases and the way they deal with patches, there's a lot of talk about this game is dead. Oh, I'm leaving this game. This game sucks. This game's gonna die. I wanted to give a perspective on why the game is not gonna die and why it's not that simple. Yes, there's a lot of content creators, a lot of players that are like, wow, I really don't enjoy this game, which of course is not going to be good for the health of the game. But I think people don't really look at this in the Pokemon context. So if you're talking about like any other game, sure, that looks really bad. But I want to give the Pokemon context to this, which I haven't seen anybody bring. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Check me out on Twitch, by the way. That's where this gameplay you're going to be seeing is coming from. And come back for more. Okay, so let's get right into it. There's a lot of people talking about how bad this game is. Let's start with the negatives, of course, and then I'll give the counterpoints. So the negatives, the main ones right now being patches and character releases. So character releases were bad enough coming out with just gyms for the first week, which made it feel kind of pay to win, especially when the characters were super strong and you had to buy them. Which, granted, with Zoroark and Flavel didn't really happen, but that's how it was with Mew. So basically what they do is they make the characters cost about $8 if you're going to want to play the first week. Otherwise, you wait for a week after it comes out and then you can buy with in-game coins, which by the way are capped, which is super cringe, especially with the rising cost of Pokemon. That was one thing that pushed a lot of people away. And then the main thing is how long it takes for them to come out with the patch. Mew and Mime were running the meta for a solid month or longer, and nobody was having any fun except maybe the Mew and Mime players. Mew's Solar Beam could be used literally the second the animation ended, one after the other in succession once you got Solar Beam Plus, because each hit reduced it by 1 second for the next cooldown. So you're hitting 5 players in Rayquaza, boom, 6 seconds. By the time animation's over, you get it right back. Now, I don't know why the quality's buttons rip clips, but tell me this doesn't look super fun and interactive for everybody involved, especially the other team who just got beamed 57 times. Very fun, very interactive. That goes along with his boosted auto that can track you across the map. You lose your entire health bar as an attacker before you have any time to react. Not very fun. And then there's Mime on the other hand, literally just straight up the best duelist in the game. Anybody within range of Mime just dies to his combo of Power Swap, and it was Psychic and then became Power Swap Confusion once they nerfed Psychic a little bit. Changed the character, didn't matter, still running the meta. So this drove a lot of players away. You had Jungle Book saying the game was stale, he left. Crashy's been hating on the game forever, which, you know, let's be real here. The game has its issues, at least there's somebody talking about it. Whether or not everything's agreeable, a lot of what he says is reasonable. And then you have the content creators like Chris saying, oh, they're just gonna let the game die. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna give a take on it. It's more cyclical. Yes, I think this game is really, really bad, but I'm recording this on the day of the Zoroark release, which has brought a lot of players back into it. There's been a lot of hype for it. Zoroark was trending on Twitter. Granted, it was mostly negative. However, with the Mew and Mime nerfs, the patch notes got everybody up in arms and everybody's ready to, first of all, riot because of the cringe skin wombo combo you have to buy to get the character. But they're also going back onto the game to play it because now Mew and Mime got nerfed and hey, the game's playable again. That along with just a Garchomp buff. So they changed a lot of things, right? It wasn't just the 2 nerfs. They buffed some other characters like Venusaur, Garchomp, some of the less popular ones. Eldegoss might be back. So this big change is just bringing tons of people back into the game, which just goes to show people want to like the game. That being said, if they can just get it right, they already have a lasting fan base. The way Pokemon games work, here's a Pokemon perspective that I'm going to talk about. Pokemon games are very, very cyclical. They come out with one every year, of course. So, ish. One every year-ish. One every couple of years, maybe. So, we had Sword and Shield, which was massive, first game on the Switch. We had Arceus, which was massive. We're having coming up on Scarlet and Violet. If you look at the Pokemon games on Twitch or the viewership for them, they're non-existent towards the end of that game's life cycle. It just doesn't, that game's life cycle, it doesn't exist. Like right now, Arceus has under 1,000 viewers as a game. Sword and Shield has a little over 1,000. Whereas even right now, dead game Pokemon Unite LOL is hanging out at about 3,000 after this patch, which granted is a little higher than usual. Usually there's not 3,000 viewers. But my point is, we're in the off season for the game. There's a new Pokemon game coming out, and that's where all the hype is going. So Scarlet and Violet are going to pop off when they come out, and then maybe in a couple of years they're going to die off. That's just how it works, right? So they're going to be really, really popular. VGC is going to be really big, especially around the World Championships. The game's going to be really big. The tournaments are big. And then what happens in the offseason, nobody cares. And that's what's happening with Arceus and Sword and Shield. It's the offseason right now. Nobody cares. There's a new game coming out, so no one cares. The way I see it, Unite, yeah, it's not a new game every year, but each new season with Unite Championship Series, it's going to be like that. So the game had a huge fall off after the Unite Championship Series, but they've confirmed it's going to be back next year. So the way I see it, it's going to pick right back up as soon as the Championship Series starts again, which would be in about February if we're going off of last year. There's a lot of, oh, give us news. There's no news. They've confirmed that it's coming back, and to me, that's news, right? Like, we didn't hear about Unite Championship Series until, we didn't hear about it until January last time, right? So to me, we have gotten news. It's coming back. They just haven't said exactly when. So the way I see it, the game's going to pick up again as soon as the competitive season starts, which, you know, January, February-ish. And as they throw money at it for the World Championships, granted $500,000 is not exactly a lot. However, that's more than you get for playing the main series Pokemon games. And like I said, it's just a cyclical life cycle. I think the game is a little bit on a downturn, especially suffering from the Mew Mime meta. But instantly, as soon as they patch that, the game numbers, they shot back up again. So I think it's a positive for the game. We do rely on the developers, you know, a little bit. Like, please, every once in a while, fix your game occasionally. The month and a half of My Mew was not very fun, but it just goes to show people want to like the game. The game, like, people want to play it. So there's a lot of potential there. And when they do something right, like nerfing those characters, the numbers shoot up. So yes, the game is past its peak, I would even say. I would agree with that. Past its peak, sure. Dying, I don't think it's going to die at least in the next year or two, because they have Unite Championship Series next year. Maybe after that, if they don't change things, the way matchmaking works, give us a real rank mode, please. Then maybe we'll see something about like a real negative effect on the game. I'm really curious on your take. Let me know what you think about my take, or give me yours in the comments. Come back for more. Peace out.